everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. New man on the mix, so fine. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
Oh, yeah. It's Monday. And if it's Monday, you know what it means. Let's Talk Football. The Roundtable is here live in your living room. We got good stuff for you today. We got great stuff for you today. Before I even get started, let me go ahead and bring out the people. I got Delilah Crespo. I got Nicholas Rosario. I got my man Nate Snell.
Woo-hoo!
What's up, guys? How we feeling today?
Hey, what's up? I'm happy. It's like in the 40s over here. So, springtime in Chicago.
Oh, I like that.
Enjoying the weather, and I'm enjoying this sandwich.
Right? What you eating on, man?
Right.
What sandwich you got right now, man?
Hey, man, Latino all the way. I got a carnita sandwich.
Woo.
Carnitas,
Woo.
and I got Pepsi from Mexico. Pepsi.
All right.
Yeah.
He ain't a stereotype. It's okay. Let's go.
Not at all.
Let's get it. Nate, how you feeling, man? You all right, Nate?
I'm feeling good, man. It's March. February went by fast. Let's get into it, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for the. I'm ready for the show. I'm ready.
Let's get it. We got a lot of stuff to bring you guys, and we are so excited to be with you here on the 6th episode of Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. Like they said, it's March 1st. We got through the month of February, did our Black History Month moments, and definitely hope you appreciated that. But we have to come on a somber note. Recently, I want to say about a little over a week ago, if you haven't heard, Tiger Woods got in a major accident where his SUV actually took a turn and then spun out and was flipped over multiple times. So much so that his legs were almost crushed inside the car, and they had to use the jaws of life to get him out. They rushed him to the hospital. Now he's doing a lot better. I know you guys can speak on this. I know they had to put a rod in Delilah.
Yeah, so so he's had multiple leg surgeries, and one of them they had to put like a pin or a rod or whatever. I don't know but basically he's in good spirits, they're saying, and he might have more surgeries in the future, right? Because he had multiple injuries in both of his legs. So so hopefully he heals up, and I hope that everything comes out well for him, and that his when he goes into physical therapy, I hope that comes out well for him also.
Yeah, and Nate. So if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it 2 compound fractures, compound fractures in both his legs, man?
So in both his legs, yes. And like Delilah said, rod had to be inserted in one. So that SUV that definitely saved his life. And you looked at it. I'm still amazed. I was like, wow. From what they're saying, there's no drinking, no drugs. Some people think he may have fell asleep at the wheel. You're hearing things about the road he was traveling on. Is known to be dangerous, known for accidents. So we still don't really have all the full details, but it's more important. Thank God that he is alive, and it's going to take, like I said, it's going to take a minute to get himself back out there. I really would like to see him back on the golf course, but it's going to take time, and I think during this time, all the golfers that supported him with the red shirts, that was much respect. So he's got a whole community and a whole world behind him.
Yeah, and that's key. That's so huge, man. And Nick, man, like Nate said, they all supported him with the red shirts, and everybody sends their best well wishes and everything of that nature. But we can't let's not forget, like, even before this, he was having back surgery, he was having surgeries on his legs and things, Nick. So I mean, it looked bleak from before, but now it's like, where are we at, man?
Well, the thing is, and you feel bad for Tiger, you do, because like you said, he's been playing golf 20 as a professional. I think it was mid 96 when he
96.
turned pro,
96.
97 there. So 96, yeah. So 25 years as a professional, one of the best golfers ever. And you've had some setbacks. You made a comeback again. You won a major tournament. Then you won a couple small ones, played well. Now you have this car accident, and it's got to, it takes the steam out of you a little bit. Now, obviously, he's Tiger Woods, so he's going to do whatever he can to work his way back. He's a competitive guy.
Yeah,
you just, you feel for him. You hope, if Alex Smith can make a comeback like that with the 17 surgeries on his leg,
right.
I'm sure Tiger can make a comeback as well with just the rot in his leg and a couple. But again, it'll give him time to really think about what he wants to do with the rest of his life.
Right.
Does Tiger have anything to prove? I don't think so. I mean, yeah, he's chasing Nicklaus by three tournaments?
3, I think so.
In terms of all-time Masters, like Grand Slam win, like he's 3 behind, but Tiger has nothing to prove. So it'll be up to Tiger.
That was one of those feats and accomplishments that was almost like Gehrig, his record. Like, people never thought people would come close to that. So I can see him having a little bit. I mean, like, Tiger's one of those kind of like Tom Brady, where he's kind of like, he's up there.
Yeah.
He's and for a while, I mean, the gap was huge. You know what I mean? So with him, it's like it's the same thing you say about Alex, where you kind of like, man, right off into the sunset. You have all of this in your background. You are great. You don't need to put yourself out there and risk it. But we're not in that position, though.
Yeah, he needs 3 wins.
We're not, and I know.
3 wins. He needs 3 wins to at least tie. If not pass him, tie.
Right.
He's got 15, and Jack Nicklaus, again, like, I even know who that is, and I don't, I never really watched golf until really Tiger Woods. So
you know the name.
I, like, okay, so the other thing that made me like golf was like Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Not Happy Gilmore.
That's hilarious. Anyway, but yeah, so Tiger Woods, Tiger Woods, I hope you heal well, and if you decide to get back on that golf course, I hope that it works out. And if you decide to be an announcer and still make a shitload of money, like, kudos to you.
Well, exactly. And let's hope he kind of goes and does a Tony Romo and and says, let's just go to the booth.
Tony Romo.
Because you already know they would sit there and fully compensate this guy.
Absolutely.
Tiger, look, take your time. We're all praying for you.
Right.
We're all send you our best wishes. Get better. Okay, get better. Real quick, today is March 1st. However, something happened yesterday, and I'm gonna shed light on it. I'm gonna bring it back in one last word. Legendary, and I mean legendary, sports announcer, the first sports announcer of African American descent to be on a live sports show. Irv Cross, on the last day of Black History Month, passed away at the age of 81. And I might be alone in this, but I watched all those old games, all those original airs and the footage, and he was always stuck out like a sore thumb, was the only black guy in all these. But what I loved about it is he articulated his words. He had spoke with confidence, chest out, knew what he was talking about, player coach. Again, I will talk about this all in the very end, my one last word. But, hey, I got to get into this, guys, because as we know, there was some breaking news. Breaking news we had been talking about last week. Nick covered it in his notes. J.J. Watt signs with Arizona. Nick, I'm coming to you first. Wow. I mean, wow, man. Talk to me, Nick.
Well, like they say, he had to go somewhere, right?
Right.
Why not join a team? Because again, in the end of it, what is it about? It's about winning.
Yeah.
And I think, he went to a team that is definitely on the rise.
They are.
You can't argue with the fact the Cardinals, they just missed out. Again, I wish they had made it instead of our Bears, but whatever.
I
that
did
didn't
too.
happen.
I did too.
But
Well,
with the young offense, with Kyler Murray, you got DeAndre Hopkins there, who caught the Hail Murray. What a great,
Mhm.
everybody play of the year last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, you rejoin with DeAndre, and you join a defense that has like Chandler Jones and Patrick Peterson. It is
Yeah.
you bolster the defense. You make that defense better by being there. And so now you got two guys chasing after the quarterback, and him and Chandler Jones that'll kill you. So this works out great for Arizona. It's a great signing. I'm happy for JJ Watt. Like Texas obviously, is going through a lot, and it's a very frustrating situation for a lot of the people involved there, as you see. And JJ was, like you said, he didn't want it there. He was Houston Texans all the way, but obviously things change. And so now, hey, you've got your focus. You got your 2-year contract, $31 million, 23 guaranteed. So get out there now, chase the quarterback, and have a good time. See what happens. In a couple of years, who knows? The Cardinals could be playing for a Super Bowl. So this could be a great thing for Arizona. Seriously.
And that's the thing. The fact, and I'm coming to you, Nate, the fact that he's now with a team that, although they struggled towards the end of the year, he's with a team that is very loaded. You have Hopkins, you have Murray, you have that offense, but you have a very underrated defense in Arizona, Nate, that I mean, they're ready to go. This might be that piece that puts them over the top. What do you think?
I think it's a piece that puts them over the top, but I'm more interested in looking to know how that offense is going to look. Particularly those last, in my personal opinion, those last 6 games, offensively, Arizona fails to close when it was needed the most. They failed to close in big moments. Not taking anything away from Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, but I think they need a guy offensively that's going to help them close the games. Now, I'm not saying J.J. Watt is not a great signing for them, because he definitely bolsters that defense. But I'm looking more towards the offense for the Cardinals. The defense, they got a stud. You got Buda Baker, you got Patrick Peterson, Chandler Jones, now J.J. Watt.
Mm-hmm.
If you're NFC West.
I know, that's what I said. I'm the NFC West.
You should be. Your antenna should be up.
Oh yeah. And Delilah, I mean, like, we've been talking since week 1 about Russ and everything that's come out with Russ recently. This doesn't help any quarterback in the NFC West, because, like, you were looking it up. Yeah. ESPN put out something about the Arizona defense.
Yeah. I
mean, JJ Watt just bolsters it so much. Like,
I feel like I feel like JJ Watt is just a natural leader, like, and in a good way. Like, everyone likes him. He's a likable dude, and like, people just like him. So I think he's going to be really great on that team. Like, they're going to mesh really well. He's just one of those laid back dudes, right? Just kind of goes in and like connects with people. I mean, Chandler Jones, joking around, like, said if he came to Arizona, he'd become his personal chef, So
there you go. Incentive.
Gotta cook.
So, so it wasn't just DeAndre Hopkins. You had a few people tweeting at him from Arizona going, hey, come to us. Like, we got guys, and you'll be like that, that final piece. And I guess, speaking to Russell, last week, some of us were talking about how the O-line is not very good for Seattle, right? And that's one of the reasons that Russell spoke out and wanted to be involved, right, in whoever they draft or decide to trade for that will be protecting him, right? Because he was like, I want to know who's going to protect me, because I was running for my life a lot. So, but yeah, and on top of that, the NFC West, we know they were the first, with the Rams, right? That ginormous deal that blew up everything. So, like, the NFC West is looking really interesting.
If you think Matthew Stafford just went, oh crap, this is great. I just put the NFC West, and now I got to deal with J.J. Watt. Great.
That's
right.
Saying like that. That's gonna be a really interesting division. To be honest, I mean they were always competitive, but now that two teams are yeah, we're going all in. Right, you have Arizona going and fixing pieces a little bit more quietly, but they're still doing it. Right, they're a little quieter, but they snuck in and they got the deal right because everybody thought he was gonna go to Green Bay. Everybody thought they were naming no one even thought about Carolina except the Cardinals, except for one fan on Let's Talk Football, Joey. I forgot his last name, but he was he posted a comment how he said the Cardinals, right? And so, he called it. And, because it's one of those teams that people weren't really thinking about. And we probably should have, especially with DeAndre Hopkins, who he is a buddy with, says, come play for us. That probably sealed the deal right there. He probably made up his mind as soon as DeAndre Hopkins tweeted at him, "Come play for Arizona."
Right, and honestly, maybe even before that, he probably had this thing set up for a while. Hey, look, it's nice. DeAndre was like, "It's nice over here. We're winning some games. We can use you."
Right.
You know what I mean? So players talk back and forth like that. My only thing, and before we get off this, Nick, I'm gonna send this to you. My only problem with this now is you got J.J. Watt. He's reuniting with DeAndre Hopkins, and I just feel Deshaun Watson is that third guy that's just left out. And it's come on, guys, don't leave me.
Well, Arizona doesn't need a quarterback. Otherwise, you would go, okay.
They don't. They got Murray, They got Murray.
This is why, like you said, real quick with the Deshaun thing again. I know we talk about him every week. It seems like. What do you do now? Because, like you said, you feel like the left out guy. You're like, my boy JJ goes back to play with DeAndre.
Right.
And that's the thing. DeAndre got taken from him last year. That trade still baffles me to no end.
It baffles everyone.
Why you would trade David Johnson for DeAndre Hopkins? I'll never understand. But whatever.
No.
So, DeAndre. Poor Deshaun is I'm alone on this island of Houston. I'm just sitting here waiting to get released. I'm waiting for my break to get out of here. And you know what? And obviously we know they're still digging in their heels. They still say they don't want to trade him, but Deshaun, I think, will still be gone. And JJ could be, having playoff victories this upcoming year with, him and DeAndre can celebrate and, it'll be fun to watch. It definitely be fun to watch. Like I said, NFC West has been put on notice now that the Cardinals are coming for people.
Yes. The NFC West is definitely going to be woo. It's going to be fair. I hope we're not playing them this year because that's going to be scary.
I'm telling you.
That's definitely going to be scary for sure.
Cameron Crump made a good comment. The question is, will JJ still stay healthy though? Well, I guess going back to that defense, he doesn't have to do his. I mean, he will be doing the work, but he's got buddies with him, right? He's not going to be the only one on that field. So hopefully he can stay healthy, but he's not the whole defense, right? He doesn't have the whole defense on him. He's got these young studs that he can go to, right? And so hopefully it works out and it'll be a good balance.
Arizona has pieces that Houston doesn't.
Yeah. So
true. Yeah. But then again, at the same time, a lot of teams have pieces that Houston doesn't. Houston don't really have anything right now.
Not anymore.
Houston, I hope. I really feel bad for anybody that goes to Houston. But look, we ain't even gonna go on that. I feel bad for you. Hopefully you get out of Houston. Hopefully you get out of here. All right, man. We're gonna go ahead and we are going to move right along. Topic number 2. My man Nate bringing the notes. Yay! What's going on? And last week, if you guys missed it, he hit. Actually, the first topic was possible destinations for JJ Watt. So
he did.
Put Arizona on the bingo card.
Did I have Arizona on that list? No, I did not.
No, and you had like 11 teams, bro. Like you had like
I did.
half the NFL on that list, and the Cardinals weren't one of them. Look at
Arizona was not on that team. No, it was not.
that.
So this week for my notes, the wide receivers for the Baltimore Ravens, I came out and made a statement about how they are unhappy about the system that they're in. Willie Snead, Dez Bryant, and Marquise Brown. Dez Bryant came out and said that essentially he wants to play football for 2 more years. However, he said it would not be back with Baltimore simply because he didn't fit the system. So Willie Snead came out, and this was one of his tweets. And I quote, "Any wide receiver can be a true number one if they are in a system that allows them to be. What they do after that is on him." 100. You give any receiver 100 plus targets, if they're worth a damn, they'll be considered a number one because they have plenty of opportunities to show it. If you're going to talk, speak facts, not name drop, okay? Then somebody responded to him and saying, no, a true number one is based off talent. Guys like Devonta Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, and even younger guys like A.J. Brown are true number one wide receivers because of their talent. You are number one on the Ravens by default, not anyone that could be a true number one. So essentially, they're unhappy with the system that they're in. We all know Greg Roman. We can all attest to this. What he did when he was offensive coordinator of San Francisco with Colin Kaepernick. We can make a case in saying that his offense kind of he Romanized it. It wasn't. He didn't make the offense better. He didn't make Colin Kaepernick better. You know, we're kind of questioning what. Okay, has Lamar Jackson reached his peak in this system? And even the question is, okay, why is it when you have Willie Snead, Marquise Brown coming out publicly and talking about your offensive coordinator? Okay, now,
right.
I will say this. For Willie Snead and Marquise Brown to be talking, first and foremost, Willie Snead is not a number one wide receiver. He was never a number one wide receiver. Not when he was with the Saints. He was really a legit number two, number three. Marquise Brown is not a number one wide receiver. Marquise Brown is a legit number two, number three wide receiver. Baltimore, historically, yes. With the exception of Torrey Smith and Quan Bowden, Baltimore has failed to really develop a wide receiver. Now, one, I think it's also, two, scouting. When you look at Baltimore, this past season, I believe the number of passes dropped. Willie Snead, Marquise Brown, Miles Boykin, with 7.5% of Lamar Jackson's passes were dropped by those guys. And that's not even including Mark Andrews. Wow. So for them to come out and to make these comments, I think it shows that there's some problems with Baltimore right now with coaching. And John Harbaugh needs to really get it together and figure out what he's going to do. I think this is Greg Roman's, this upcoming season is his last year to really get this offense developed. Because we all know that offense, it's at this point, we know what they're going to do. It's the pistol formation, play action, you know. It's just so obvious to teams. And right. Greg Roman they have to develop a passing scheme. Look, we all know when the playoffs come, the game slows down. But a passing scheme must be developed for the Baltimore Ravens. If not, Baltimore's window, in my opinion, of a championship is going to close very quickly. And that could potentially have a guy like Lamar Jackson unhappy. Okay?
Right.
So I just want to get your guys' takes on that. How do you feel with when I'm Willie Snead and Marquise Brown coming out? What do you think Baltimore needs to do?
I mean,
I got an opinion.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, man.
Stop crying is what I would tell Willie Snead and Marquise Brown, and I'll tell you why. You are professional athletes. You are paid to get on the field and catch the football. As Nate has so duly noted in his notes, 7.5% of the passes of that he were dropped. Think about that. That is a big number of dropped passes over an entire 16-game season.
Absolutely.
So you want to sit up here, and I get that Lamar Jackson is a running quarterback. We all know that. The kid coming out of college was a running quarterback. We all knew that. What was the big knock on Lamar Jackson? Can the kid throw the ball down the field? Right? That was one of the things. We knew, can he throw the ball? Well, guess what? You got some receivers who, again, you can argue all you want. Like you said, they're not top flight. They're not number one receivers. These are guys who came from, who are good, maybe a slot receiver, a third down possession receiver, can get you 4 or 5 yards, whatever. But these guys are not speeds, aren't barn burners. They're not going down the sideline for 60-yard bombs. They're just not. And to come out publicly and criticize your coordinator and blah, 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 and this is not the system for me, and this and you know who should know better? Dez Bryant. Of all the people to speak out to, if anyone should know better than to run your mouth about this kind of stuff, it's Dez Bryant. So the fact that he decided to throw his hat in the ring, well, that's what you say. Go, all right, this guy again, great. It's Mr. Dez Bryant. So
this guy,
I mean, come on.
No, I know. I think my
if you guys, go ahead, Delilah, because I'm done.
I think no, you're not. No. Yeah, I think what I'm looking at now is not the receivers per se, but now it's Lamar Jackson. And now it's coming out. He's feeling a certain way, right? Because now you have another team whose quarterback is unhappy. But I don't know.
Lamar's not happy. I know what you're saying. Lamar's not happy. But
the players,
Right.
But still, it just adds more to your team, is what I'm saying. More to the drama, right? And it's like. But he hasn't spoken publicly about it. It's just more obviously the people he's talking to. They're saying the contract negotiations. You tell me you're a Baltimore fan, but apparently they stalled. They're not going.
I'm going to save that for my last word.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Hey, you know what? Mark Andrews catches the ball. Come on. If the tight end catches the ball, the receiver should be able to catch the ball. Because I'm sorry, every time I look up, Mark Andrews catches the ball. I'm just saying.
All right.
He is their receiving core. He definitely is their receiving core for sure.
Yeah.
But again, I think it goes back to what you said, Nick, and Delilah. Like he comes out as more of a more mobile quarterback. So that system and that time when he came in, he's coming right off of that era of the RG3s where they're running this read option, RPO, all this stuff. In that type of offense, you need an O-line, you need a running back, and you need a quarterback. Those receivers are accessories, and you need a tight end. They have they're built for their type of offense. If you want a big name guy, Michael Thomas and Allen Robinson or Juju, you're going to have to put some extra money into him, which is going to take money away from how your offense is run. And like if this was original Dez from back when he was good with the Cowboys, he wouldn't have he wouldn't have stood for that offense. He would have been slamming his helmet. I'm not getting the ball. Blah 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 blah. Part of it for me, and I'm gonna give this right back to you, Nate. Part of it for me is that in that type of offense, there is somebody that's going to take a hit, and it's going to be the receivers. Now they got to catch the ball. I'll give them that, but they're going to take a hit.
But even with Willie, before Willie Snead was here, before Lamar, I think the year Lamar Jackson was drafted. Even with Joe Flacco as a quarterback, I remember those first 4 games. Willie Snead was nothing to sneeze about. I'm not saying Willie Snead is not a good. He's a good wide receiver. But these comments, to me, they need to be checked because here's a guy who's come in who, in my opinion, took a team that was 4-5. Morale was basically depleted, in my opinion. They looked like they were ready. To go to Cancun. Here's a guy who won 6 straight games in the AFC North title, and in the next year goes 14-2. So you're winning. What are you complaining about? If anything, Lamar Jackson should be coming out and saying, I need help. Lamar Jackson didn't play. I know I don't want to keep too long on this, but
no, you're fine.
Lamar Jackson, when against Tennessee in the first divisional round, remember, let's understand, he threw over 500 yards, right? And the majority of those, I think he threw almost like 60 passes. And the majority of those passes were what? Were drops. So what was the narrative? So Lamar Jackson had a bad game, or did Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans run all over the Ravens defense? What was the narrative? Lamar Jackson had a bad game. Instead of ignoring, well, you had Willie Snead, you had Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, Nick Boyle, Hayden Hurst at the time, dropping passes. So I'm gonna leave it right there. My next note, Alex Smith. Alex Smith today has been cut from the Washington football team. This comes after Alex Smith getting NFL Player Comeback of the Year, which was, in my opinion, well deserved. Alex Smith was due to make $19 million this year. $14 million will be saved, and his debt cap was $23 million. So that puts Washington at $43.4 million total cap. Alex Smith, let's just, I'll say it. I'm not surprised Washington would go in this direction. They've already resigned Taylor Heineke. They certainly have their quarterback of the future. I don't know where this narrative, he came out and saying he felt like they didn't want him there. I don't think that sounds more like something Dan Snyder would say. That's something Ron Rivera would not say. I don't know where he got that from, but I just wanted to get your guys' opinions on what do you think about Alex Smith being cut from the Washington football team.
I mean, let's start with it being a business decision.
Right.
Let's start with it being a business decision, because that's ultimately what it was in the long run. It was a business decision. Like you talked about with the cap, you're getting 14 off that. So we needed to make room. And Alex, it's health issues. Now, the comments, I believe them. I do believe them, because Riverboat Ron is very much a my guy type of coach. You know what I mean? That's the reason you bring in a Kyle Allen. That's the reason you have all this chatter about potentially bringing a Cam Newton to Washington, because Ron Rivera wants his guys. And you got to remember, Alex has been out for 2 years prior to this season. So before he was out, it was Jay Gruden. It was a whole nother coaching staff. And then now Alex is back, and all of a sudden they didn't know if he was going to come back. And then now it's a whole different coaching staff, a whole different set of guys. So I honestly think that it was the best for the team. I personally didn't. I hate it, because I was on the story. I loved it. He was the quarterback when we beat the Steelers. He was the guy that led us. He was 5-1 out of 6 starts that he was in there. You know what I mean? But I can't overlook the injury issues. And personally for him, I just want you to go home, man. Kind of like Tiger. Like, look, you've had your success. You've had your great. You're making money. Go home, man. It's not worth you not being able to walk for the rest of your life, or to have a limp or hampered. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel.
I agree. Oh, Nate, I think this.
Go ahead. Would somebody say something? I'm sorry.
No, there was a question. I'm trying to keep track of comments, but we can keep talking about. We can talk about Alex Smith, and then Nate can answer this question.
Yeah, sure.
Because obviously it has to do with the Ravens. I don't know if you see the comments.
Well, I see it. Thank you,
well, I think if you look at it, I mean, I don't think like Sean said, I don't think they wanted Alex Smith there. He started every other quarterback but until it was time. You know what I mean? So kind of it was time to go. Well, I guess we got to go with Alex Smith now, don't we? So that's the thing. Like you said, Ron Rivera is going to want to bring in his guy. That's true. We know that. He did it in Carolina. He's going to do it here.
He's always been that way. He's always been that kind of guy. He is a very he's a blunt guy. Okay, so I don't know what to tell you. So you know, he says things that people are like, he hurt my feelings. Trust me, he doesn't care. Like,
Nope.
that's who he is. That's how he always has been. Like, because it did come off that Alex Smith felt a certain way because I guess Ron Rivera was interviewed, right? And you know, there were some quotes, and that's when he came out and say, "Oh, I don't think I was wanted there." I'm like, I'm like, it's not so much as that. I think it goes back to what Sean was saying. Eunuch is like, I don't think Washington even knew you were gonna come back. Like, you know,
and, like they were not expecting you to just all of a sudden be ready to play and go, okay, here we go.
You know, and Ron was just being honest and just sharing his thoughts and you know what was going on with the team and. You know, and I sometimes look. Everyone has feelings, right? Sometimes feelings get hurt. Like you know, we're all human, but Riverboat Ron, he's like that. He's like, listen, I just like he's like I beat cancer. Like I don't got time to beat around the bush. Like,
that's true.
I don't got time to beat around the bush, and so like you know, to put it mildly,
signed Tyler Heineke,
right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think is Tyler Heineke the future, or are they going to get a quarterback? I don't know.
They're going to get a quarterback. Yeah, they're going to get a quarterback. They're saving money. And I can't get past the fact that this is a business decision.
It is.
It's a business decision.
It is.
Like, he's not. It is. There's nothing else, nothing more, nothing less, and that's the way I have to look at it because I do like him. I know
we all do.
But he has the right to say what he said, but they did what they did. There we go. We're good.
That's it.
We're good.
There we go.
Well point. Well said. Well said. Should the Ravens try to go after a wide receiver from Alabama? I think it could be. I'm not sure you're referring to Cameron, referring to Devonta Smith. Again, I don't think Devonta Smith's going to be there. I think probably after the 10th pick, he might be gone. Now, whatever happens with Orlando Brown Jr., I do know Orlando Brown Jr. is going to be worth a first-round pick and another pick. So whatever they're going to get, we're going to see what they can get. I think there's a couple wide receivers that Baltimore could be linked to drafting, but Devonta Smith's not one of them. My last note is Isaiah Wilson. Isaiah Wilson is an offensive lineman from the Tennessee Titans. I did a YouTube video on this yesterday, and I shared it in the group. And Isaiah Wilson tweeted out that he's done with the Tennessee Titans. No further comments. And then deletes the tweet later. This is last year was drafted 29th overall by the Titans. Okay. For some reason finds himself in trouble. He was at Tennessee State University at a off-campus party, drunk, wanted to jump off a second floor balcony, and then DUI in September. So he's only played in 4 games. The majority of the season, he's been on the non-injury football list. And when you have the GM come out and essentially saying, well, Isaiah, I'm basically paraphrasing, but he said Isaiah has to figure out if he wants to play football or not. Because we have guys here on this team that we expect to carry themselves to play and act professional. And he also said in those comments, the guy that we scouted at the combine is not the guy we drafted.
Right.
I think that the one, and I kind of said, and I said this one in a video I did about Dwayne Haskins. I don't understand today's athletes, particularly when they come in, they act like they're entitled. They can do whatever they want. They don't want to put, not all of them, this is some of them, they don't want to put the work in. They feel as though once they gotten the money, I'm good. Dwayne Haskins, no disrespect, Sean. That's last year. He was horrible.
Right.
You know, when you have a guy who's obviously he's at a strip club or he's trying to invite family and friends to the team hotel, which is against the policies of the NFL. The NFL is telling these teams are telling these guys, look, please don't do these type of things, particularly in the midst of a pandemic.
Right.
But you have guys who are going, I could do whatever the hell I want. Who are them to tell me what I can and can't do? Well, last time I checked, they're cutting your check.
Right.
So I don't think these guys get it. I think, especially I thought it was kind of Haskins had balls to, after playing against Carolina, getting benched, and then leave the stadium afterwards without even speaking to the press. Like, that's not cool. And if you were a teammate or a coach, you'd be pissed. So I just want to get you guys' opinions on this. What do you think with the Tennessee Titans? Should he even drafted this guy? Nick, you could probably even agree to this. There were probably 5 offensive linemen that the Tennessee Titans could have drafted ahead of Isaiah Wilson, because that tweet that he said, I don't mean to keep talking, but
no, you're fine. He deleted it, but
he essentially said
it's gone.
That tweet essentially has shown that you can be replaceable. You're easily replaceable in football.
Yeah.
Any mistake you make, you're replaceable. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's a maturity issue. I think, and this happens. You'll see this a lot in sports.
He's 22.
Right. Remember, these kids come out of college. Some of them are 20, 21, 22. They've got all this money all of a sudden to go out and do things with. And, they got a day off or they're bored one night and they decide to go out and they call up their fellows from college. Guys, let's go hang out. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And you get caught with something. You get caught doing something. And then it becomes, okay, well, man, then the team gets on and you're like, oh, man, this is a drag. The team, you have to take responsibility for yourself. That's number one. Yeah. You're a professional now. You're not in college anymore. Not everybody's going to coddle to you just because you're number one pick or whatever. Like, the fact is you have to carry yourself in a certain manner. And, that's just the way it goes. So if you're, here's the thing. Orlando Brown is young, right? So this is something that could easily be fixed. This is something that could easily, same with Dwayne. He made a mistake. Hey, you get a second chance now. You're on another team. Make the most of that opportunity. Same with Brown. If they decide that, he says he doesn't want to play with Tennessee anymore, and they decide. Isaiah Wilson.
I was like Orlando Brown. I was like, what?
No, sorry, I said it right. It was Isaiah Wilson, not Orlando Brown. Yeah, I'm sorry. Right, my bad. No, but,
I thought you had breaking news. I was like, what?
Yeah, no. I wish I did. The siren would have went off behind me. You would have heard it. No, but whatever happens here with Wilson,
right.
It's it's a learning opportunity either way. Either Tennessee decides to sit him down, talk to him, and go, "Hey, look, man, here's the deal. This is what we expected of you. Like you said, you're not the guy. The guy we saw in the combine is not the guy we drafted. So I want to know where that guy is. I want to know where that guy's hunger to play the game and the passion you have for playing the game. I want to know where that is. None of this other BS. And if they feel like it's not getting through to him, then you let him go. And you go, okay, pal, we'll find somewhere for you to go. And then good luck to you. What is it? What is the one line everybody gets? Good luck on your future endeavors. And that's what you give them. Because again, you as a team have a responsibility too to fill your locker room with guys who are going to adhere to that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
you really have to be. This is where the owner and the team and the management comes into play. And you sit this kid down and you go, look, man, here's the deal. And you either take it or you don't.
Right.
And there you go.
But that goes.
I think now, even though he deleted the tweet, right? It's like, but we know you can't, once it's out there forever.
It's out there.
But I guess now, since obviously now people are actually calling because he went, even though he went like 29, he still went in the first round, right? So people are calling for him now because he's 22, so apparently now the Bengals are fielding phone calls, to see if they can get this kid. And, there's a possibility that it could be like, like Nick is saying, they come down and talk to him and say, hey, like what's going on? Or like Nate said, they send him to another team, But sometimes there's certain certain systems are better at helping like these guys mature. Some are not, So I'm not saying like it's possible that it could be a learning curve, like if they send him to another team, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I do think that we also forget that I remember how I was when I was like between 18 and 21, and I didn't have money.
Right. I didn't have money.
And I had no money. So I can't imagine what that is like to be 21 and all of a sudden all this money is just tossed at you. You don't have no you're in a world that you've never like been part of. You never had this much money, because we have to remember a lot of these guys we play sports because through scholarships, right? Because they want to better themselves. Like we know a lot of these guys don't come from a lot of money usually, and so all of a sudden you got like this blank check, or not blank check, but you got this big check coming in, and you're like, "Ooh, let's party!" And it's like, and I think it does come down to maturity thing. Some guys are better at it, right? Some guys are better at adapting right away. Like they come into the system, they're like, "Nah, this is what I want to do." Like I'm gonna take this serious. Then other guys take a little more handling, or they don't learn their lessons and they're gone. Like Johnny Manziel, who now has to go play like some BS new league that's coming up.
Exactly. But that's it. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's the same reason. It's the same reason why somebody that's been poor, if they win the lottery, they normally don't keep that money. They normally run through it, because if you have these guys, a lot of them are coming from these poor neighborhoods and have no idea how to handle money, no idea how to handle all this attention, this fame, and a lot of their past behaviors, or stuff, a lot of it comes out. But the big thing in this, the stuff that we've all seen can wipe all of that away, is your talent. Exactly. If you're good enough, if you can play the game, if you're a Tyreek Hill or a Joe Mixon,
they'll ignore everything. They'll be like, all right, whatever.
So maturity definitely plays a factor, but also what plays a factor is
your talent,
the situation that you're in. Where you're at, because sometimes you're not in the best place. Sometimes you're in a place where they let you do all that nonsense and get away with it. What I mean? So,
and all you guys make great points. But here's the thing: he was drafted to replace Jack Conklin.
Right.
The Tennessee Titans are not the Detroit Lions or the Jacksonville Jaguars. Last time I checked, Tennessee has been in the playoffs for last 2-3 straight years.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Last time I checked, and
last 2 years,
they are a no nonsense team led by Mike Vrabel. So I think here's a chance for you to not only replace a viable piece of the offensive line, and here you come in and you're kind of going, oh, okay, I'm drafted, but I can still do whatever I want to do. It's like if I'm told, and Sean, we talked about it before the show, if I'm told I got to be at a job, this doesn't have to be with athletes. This is anyone who works a 9 to 5.
Right.
If you're told you got to be at the job 9 o'clock, and you going up in the office, it's 11:30, and you haven't phoned anybody, why? What's going on? People gonna look at you like, why are you 2 hours and 30 minutes late?
Right.
So I'm gonna. I see what you're saying. Even when I get it.
Even when you look at a resume, like Isaiah Wilson has a great resume. He has a degree, he has the experience, he has all that. But when you hire him, he's putting his feet on the desk. This is not the same guy that was at the interview who was giving us great answers. Right. All that. That's the point I'm just want to make, because I just think that we have guys, and I think also too, I blame the NFL. They need to have a mentorship program.
Yes, they do. I agree.
In the league,
I agree 100%.
How to, one-on-one financing, different things like that. That's what needs to happen.
I actually agree with that 100%. Like there has to be a transition team, like somebody that, like let's get these, because that makes the most sense especially now in 2021, I mean, shouldn't there already be a mentor program to help these kids who are coming like in and especially when they're coming from like schools that are like party schools, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like, or because that is what they were used to, right? They were the big guys on campus. They were always getting, effed up when they were playing games, and and they were allowed to like, they were giving free range of the campus. They really didn't have to come to class. If you fail one of those guys, God forbid, right? You could lose your job as a professor, right? Like, let's be honest, right? Because they really coddle these guys, right? Because even though they don't get paid for all the money that the colleges are making off of these guys, which is another topic, but
definitely,
very true. Very true.
But I agree. I think a mentorship program, like, hey, put it all out there in the system. NFL, get some mentors for these guys. Like, help these kids transition.
Sean, I want to make this last point. I know I've talked. I'm like pulling Charles Barkley here, but this is my final point. There are guys that literally work to put blood, sweat, and tears, like Isaiah Wilson, and don't get that opportunity to have their name called or shake the commissioner's hand.
Very true.
And Isaiah Wilson is one of those very fortunate that some guys that have worked maybe three times harder don't get that opportunity like Isaiah Wilson has. And I really hope that he gets his act together. I wish nothing but the best. Let me shut up.
I do too. No. Honestly, I wish him the best. I'm with Nate, and Nick. I hope that that Tennessee actually gives him another chance. I think he deserves a second chance, to be honest, because it wasn't like he has some problems, but I hope that they give him a chance, that they actually talk to him and be like, look, this is what we want from you. Like you said, this is not who we saw in the combine. Where did that guy go? And I do hope that they actually give him another chance before trading him. Like, I think that they should give him a chance and see, like, hey, if you put in the work, help the kids. Hello, help the kids. But they are kids. Like, I'm sorry, when you're 21 and it's like
very true.
But anyway,
Anytime says help the kids.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing. I was like, I mean, shoot, come on. Anyway, like, but that's my final word on Nate. I agree. Like, let's hope, let's get them in this. I hope that what Nick said comes true, that they actually sit him down and talk to him before like actually trading him to another team. I guess we'll see.
But those are my Nate notes, Sean. I apologize. I didn't mean to pull a Charles Barkley, but I really had, particularly with the Ravens, I had to get it off my chest. And Isaiah Wilson, because I'm very passionate when it comes to stuff like this. So I didn't mean to pull a Charles Barkley. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, all good, no doubt. All right now. So since it is 9 o'clock, I'm gonna pull an audible because I know my man's getting off work right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull him in, do this interview, and then we're gonna come back with the Diversity with Delilah and Nick's draft. So I'm gonna take you guys out real quick. Get my man in here. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to take this minute to bring in my guy. Went to high school with him, played football with him, Herndon football, man, both in that Herndon backfield. Okay, this dude, I've known this dude. What was that? That was 98, man. My dude, Brandon Woodson. Got to get him on here. What up, man?
Hey.
How you feeling, man? What's going on?
Man, I'm all right. I'm still at work, man. Got my Buccaneers gear on. You feel me?
I see that. What's with all that orange, man? I don't know how I feel about all that, man.
Man, I was assistant defensive water boy, Super Bowl 55 for the Bucs.
Oh, where?
Don't believe me, bro.
I'm about to say, man, hold up now. That don't look. Now, hold on.
Yeah, I
man,
wish.
What's
Look,
good, man?
big champs.
Woo!
Big champs.
Yo, all right, man. All right. So before I'm gonna ask you about your past and how much you love that team. But man, talk to me, man, because I haven't experienced a title since 1992. Okay, how does it feel, man? And I asked my boy this, who's a Philly fan who just had it in 2017. How does it feel, man, to go on this ride and see your team make it all the way, man? Like, what were you thinking?
First things first, it's like it hasn't even really set in yet. You know, It's kind of like, surreal. Like it don't seem like it's real to actually get Tom Brady and then for him to like actually take you to a Super Bowl and then win the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
And I don't know, man. It just feels good. We the champs, so I'm gonna ride this out forever.
I'm about to say, man, and man, go ahead, man. Talk to me, man. How long you been a Buccaneers fan? Because I don't want anybody to come in here thinking that, saying you jumping on the Tom Brady bandwagon. Let them know how long you've been around the Tampa Bay.
All right, now I'm gonna give you the background story. All right, so the first team I ever fell in love with, to be honest with y'all, was the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh,
right?
Okay.
And after they lost that 4th Super Bowl, I cried and I hung it up on them.
Yeah, you got to.
and then like shortly after that, because of my stepfather, he was a 49ers / Redskin fan. So I started watching the games with him. So I was kind of rooting for the 49ers and the Redskins. Then I want to say, for whatever reason, I don't know what it was, I've been a Buccaneers fan since like 97, 98, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been riding with them for a while now. And to win the Super Bowl now it's a great feeling because it's been a lot of seasons of just, y'all know.
That's right. I'm about to say.
Just fooling.
So now look, so you said 97. So then what was it? Right after we got out of high school, then like 2002 or something, they won a title.
Yeah.
And you was with them then. Okay.
Yeah, I've been down before the first Super Bowl. I just made the deadline. But yeah, I definitely ain't no bandwagon guy. Anybody that know me for real know, like, I've been riding with Tampa Bay for a long time now, like 20 years. It's like,
see, there we go. And look, which one did you like better? I mean, now you're more of an, you're older. That we were just getting out of high school. Is this one? I mean,
I'm gonna say this one's sweeter because it's been a lot of like losing seasons since 2002.
Yeah,
we ain't made it to the playoffs in like 13, 14 years. So this is new.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say this one, and then I'm gonna say this one because at least everybody that's currently on my team, like, I've watched them get drafted. I'm following the draft boards. I'm seeing the Jameis Winston come and go. I'm seeing, I've seen everything, the ups and downs. So I'm gonna say this one because it's most current. But both of them feel good. They can't take it from us now. We're in the history books, man. Big champ.
There you go. And see, I gotta give you so much respect because a lot of people don't know that history, how they started off 0-26. They started off a franchise that couldn't win games and this and that. And to get to the place where they were so dominant, one of the best defenses in 2002, and then they have the GOAT, with Tom Brady now. But you mentioned Jameis, man. Like, talk to me, man. You went from 7-9, Jameis Winston, who threw for 5,000 passing yards.
Yeah, he also threw 30 for 30.
Right.
You can't win no Super Bowl if you turning the ball over like that.
Thank you.
So I'm really proud with the organization for pulling that trigger and getting rid of him. A lot of people was, like, what are y'all gonna do? Because a quarterback is a valuable asset. You got to have a franchise quarterback, or you're not gonna do much. But I'm proud that my team decided to cut ties with him, and they went after Tom Brady. I mean, as a fan, how can you be upset? You got Tom Brady.
All right. Exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, and talk about that, man. That had to have been like Christmas.
At first, bro, I heard rumors.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to go back to when you're a Buccaneers fan, you just don't expect much of anything.
Right.
It's just a rumor.
Yeah.
So when I first heard that we was going to go after Tom Brady, I was just thinking like, man, he's not going to come to Tampa. Why would he come to Tampa? So, I mean, like I said, man, it's just, I feel good, but it hasn't even set in yet.
I can't even imagine that feeling, man. Like, and then, I mean, and it has to have been like Christmas for you. Because not only do you get Tom Brady, not only do you get Bruce Arians and Tom Brady and Leftwich working together, but then, and talk to me, man, AB, Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette, You got a Ndamukong Suh on defense. I mean, is that an all-star team? I mean, when it rains, when the rich get richer right now, man. What's up?
Right. This is how I feel about it, right? I'm biased because it's my team, so it feels good.
Obviously.
But I'm also going to be honest with the rest of the sports world and be like, it's almost like an all-Madden team.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it is.
I'm very glad that we won the Super Bowl, because with all those players, if we wouldn't have won the Super Bowl, we would have been considered a bust.
Yep.
Like, how did you guys not win the Super Bowl? You know?
Right.
So, I don't know, man. I just think everything fell into our lap at the right time. We had the cap space. We had the money. The Tom Brady factor. Wherever Tom goes, guys are going to want to come play because they believe in him and they believe that they genuinely have a chance to at least go to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And I mean, we can talk about it all day, how this man literally stayed with one franchise for 20 years, goes to another conference, takes that team their first year. Man, I don't think there's any real question about this, but I have to put this up there, man. Is there any question Tom Brady's the GOAT, man?
Not at all.
I don't think anybody can even have the argument anymore.
Yeah, I think at this point it's pretty much self-explanatory. If you saying he's not the GOAT, he may not be your GOAT, but to the rest of the NFL world, regardless, if you don't like him or not, you gotta respect what he's done in the league.
I mean, my man, look, 7 Super Bowls, okay, 7 Super Bowl wins, 10 appearances,
right,
and five Super Bowl MVPs.
Right, that's hard to top. To top.
Come on.
So, I really think like the greatest asset that Tom Brady brings is he's really one of those players that he instills like a certain confidence in everyone around him.
Yes.
See, when you see other players get mad and they start yelling and cursing at their teammates, anybody else but Tom Brady and maybe Peyton Manning, the guys are gonna take it and use it as fuel instead of allowing it to tear the team apart.
Right.
Because if the GOAT's telling you something, how can you go against his football knowledge, his football IQ? How can you get mad at Tom Brady?
Right. I mean, how can you even question him? Honestly.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know people was tripping when AB came. Because I remember somebody asking me, yo, if you had a chance to get Antonio Brown, would you get him? I'm like, no, because he's a cancer to the team.
Right.
Unless you have a Tom Brady.
Right. Now, that was a question that a lot of guys asked me when we picked up AB, when we picked up Fournette, just these big personalities. But the only thing, again, it goes back to the Tom Brady factor. You can't be a diva on the same team with Tom Brady. Who are you? Exactly. He's the superstar.
Right.
You'll look like an idiot. It's no way you can be that guy. It's him. He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So I think like that helped AB like realize that like, look, man, you over here with Tom Brady, like you can't be the focal point.
Yeah.
You got to humble yourself.
Absolutely. And because like you said, man, people dream to have their whole career to get 1 year with a Tom Brady just to go on that ride. You look at who's the backup? Blaine Gabbert. You know what I mean? Got himself a ring and never had to go into a game. Never had to do anything in a game, man. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So
big champs.
Tom, man, I can't go against my man. The only thing that I think is going to stop my man, and it's not going to be anytime soon, is his age. But right now, he's 43 and counting. He's talking to people, telling them he wants to keep going. How long, realistically, can my man play and dominate? Like, is there going to ever be like a cliff where he just falls off? I thought that's what was before this year, but I was wrong.
I'm going to say, my opinion, realistically, I give him like 2 more seasons of like high caliber football.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes with keeping him upright, keeping him from getting sacked a lot, keeping him from injuries, getting nicked up.
Yep.
He takes great care of his body from what they say. He spends a lot of money as far as his conditioning and things like that. And, I mean, I can't say how long. I hope he's around for another 2-3 years, especially if he's playing for us, because I feel like we still have a shot.
Right. And that's the thing. You get everybody, if you sign these contracts, I know Godwin's a free agent. I know, was it Levante David? I think he's a free agent.
Yeah.
You get those pieces back, and you just keep everybody in their same spot.
Right.
I mean, outside of the Chiefs, and we saw how that game went, I could see back-to-back. I mean,
right.
So, hey, mad respect. I honestly, I think people, even the haters, need to sit here and just take a step back and say, we are watching history.
Yeah.
This man is amazing, man. He's amazing.
Right. So, I mean, it's a lot of Tom Brady haters, man. But, when you're great, it comes with that. So, like I said, me being a fan, I even accept bandwagon fans right now. Come on, man. We got room. Come on.
Right. Come on over.
And the crazy thing is, like you spoke on earlier, like Tampa Bay started out 0-26.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard something somewhere where they said we have the lowest winning percentage of any sports franchise, bro.
Any sport, yes.
So sometimes through a lot of these seasons when we suck, I was like, how did you end up being a Buccaneers fan, dude? Like what? I don't know what it was. I think what drew me to the Bucs was the way they played defense.
Yeah.
Because up until Tom Brady came and Jameis Winston threw for those 5,000 yards, we've never really been a prolific offensive team.
Mm.
It was all about defense. Tampa 2, Buck ball.
Yep.
So defense wins championships. So I think that was a lot of the reason why they became my favorite team.
Yeah. And they have a history of that. And I mean, I remember the first Super Bowl with Warren Sapp and John Lynch and what's his name? Dexter Jackson got it. And then you had a linebacker, number 55, Derek Brooks.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was up there with the Bears, with the Ravens and Ray Lewis and all of those were up there, those dominant defenses.
Right.
And that defense was so dominant. If I'm not mistaken, your starter in that game, who was it? Brad Johnson?
Brad Johnson, bro.
Right.
My defense was scoring touchdowns.
Right. I mean, they was killing them, man.
Yeah.
So, man, they built it on defense, but I mean, this year, and so speak on that though, real quick, because this year has been different. I mean, your defense is solid. No, don't get me wrong, but it's the offense, man. Your offense, you have an offensive team led by Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator, man. Like, talk about that.
The scary thing is, bro, is I don't even think you've seen our offense at full capacity. With the COVID, with no training camp, different things, right? We went through a lot of growing pains throughout the season because the chemistry wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
And, thankfully, everything started clicking down the stretch, and we went into the playoffs hot after our bye. Yeah. But the numbers and the things that we put up during our run towards the end of the season, like, I don't think you've seen our offense at full throttle yet. I still think the best is yet to come.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, because
y'all was nice.
Realistically, you got to really think about it on paper, man. There's not many defenses in the NFL right now that can account for Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, and Gronkowski. Mm-hmm. You got to keep in mind we had O.J. Howard who was hurt, another tight end threat.
Right.
So it's like you didn't even get the full, AB didn't play the whole season with us.
Yep.
A lot of these things, like, you got to look towards, like, the future after training camp and having chemistry. I feel like we're going to try to come back and go for a repeat, and I feel like the league still has to deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now.
Yeah. Honestly, I have to agree with you. But look, I cannot go on any longer. You see, without me addressing this, you see what I'm wearing,
Right?
Okay. First
Yes,
of all,
sir.
let me talk to you. Let me first apologize, okay? Because my man Chase Young, hey, number 1 draft pick, proven leader. That guy, yo, I gotta apologize because he definitely did run off that field talking about I want the GOAT. I want
Right.
the GOAT. And I know that was bulletin board material for your boy, man.
Absolutely.
You know?
So what is it you want to know, bro? How I felt about it?
Look. First and foremost, we weren't even the fact that we was in that game was so huge for me. I did believe for a little bit, but my thing to you is, did you ever doubt it? Did you ever doubt that y'all was gonna go through? Maybe with us, you know what I mean? I know maybe the other teams and maybe it's a little bit of doubt, but with us, did you ever think y'all was even gonna be a game?
Now this goes back to just being a Bucks fan, man. There's no telling with us. There's no telling. Like, there are teams that we should have blown out that beat us.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so I was nervous. I felt like you guys had the potential with your defensive front to cause a lot of chaos. I feel like if your defensive line and those front 7 guys would have got home, could have been a whole different ball game, because it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. If you can't keep them upright, the best quarterback will look average. You know? And I appreciate you giving props, man, but also I must tip my hat to the Washington football team. Now, here's what I want the fans to know. I'm a Buccaneer, right? But because I live in the DMV, man, I'm definitely rooting
there we go
for Team Washington all day. The only time I'm not is when they're playing against Tampa. Put it like this, bro. If you guys would have beat us, I would have rooted for you guys to win it all. Yeah. Just so that it shined light on the DMV. The whole area would have been more vibrant. Bars, things like that. Fanfare, Redskins, parade.
It would have been live. It would definitely have been live. And look, you wouldn't have seen us throwing Super Bowl trophies from one boat to another, but I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna discuss
hey, when you the GOAT, you could get away with certain stuff, you know?
True that. Coming his avocado tequila, man. Hey, do your thing, Tom. But honestly, that's the first time I've ever seen him cut loose like that.
Yeah, I think, I can't speculate, but just being around pro football, like following it, they say Bill Belichick don't let him have much fun, man. You win a lot, but you don't get to have fun.
Exactly.
So I think
that's why I'm surprised that Cam stayed.
Yeah, man. I think this is the real Tom Brady. Either this is who Tom Brady really is, or this is all those emotions that have been pent up.
Yep.
For 20 years in New England, he couldn't hang loose like that. It's just not how they operate.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of like, I've come to Tampa. The naysayers, the doubters, I'm washed up. I can't throw the deep ball. I don't got it no more. I've won the Super Bowl. What more do you want from me?
Exactly.
They said I was washed up.
Right.
They said I was a system quarterback. They said Bill Belichick is the reason I'm great.
Woo.
So I think a lot of what makes Tom Brady great is he's that kind of man where you can't give him no bulletin board material.
Yep.
And you cannot tell him what he can't do, because that's his fuel.
Yep.
He fuels himself on proving the doubters wrong.
Yeah. We found that out the hard way.
The hard way.
Man, hey, and it is what it is. I appreciate the love, and I definitely felt comfort in knowing that when y'all won, I was kind of like, well, we were the first team. We were that first team to kind of get them on their way, get them that motivation. And y'all got us our quarterback, you got him paid, and that performance that Heineke had in the game, shout out to him. Y'all got him paid for, for how that thing went. So
right.
And it was a good game. I absolutely loved it.
It was. Look, I was nervous though.
Oh, I could believe it. Look, because I started to believe for a second, but in the same thing, just being like a Washington fan, just like you being Tampa, we always know there's something kind of like, what's right around that corner? You know, like, what's really going on? Is Haskins going to come out this locker room and start first or something? Like, what's really about to happen? You know what I mean? So
you know, the Redskins and Tampa got a little history. You know, because of us, Kirk Cousins got his famous slogan. You like that?
Yeah.
He did that on us.
Oh, I like that.
Hey, we was whooping y'all, bro.
Yeah.
I think it was like 28-0 or something going into the half. Something crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I turned that one off. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. I was throwing stuff at the TV, cussing Kurt out, and all of a sudden everybody keeps saying, I like that. I like that. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, man. So I don't know, man. I just being a Tampa fan, man, there's been plenty of times, man. You know, living up here in the DMV, they're not putting our games on TV. So it's been plenty of times I had to go to bars just to watch the game, man. And the way we perform, man, I lost my appetite. I'm mad. I'm ready to go home now, man. It's over with.
Yep.
Many seasons like that. That's why this one feels so good. And I'm just taking my time with it. Like, I don't brag much. I don't boast. It's just history in the books. You can't take it from us. 20 years from now, I can talk about our Super Bowl with Tom Brady.
Yep. There you go. Oh, I like that.
Big champs, man. Big champs.
And hopefully in the next couple years, we will compete for that title. We get our quarterback.
I hope so. I mean, hey, realistically, you can't win it every year. We just won one. You know, so if we don't repeat, I would like to see the Washington football team, play in the Super Bowl and have some success because, like I said, man, this is the area I'm from, so I always got love and support and respect for my home team.
Oh yeah. We appreciate that. We hey, anybody that loves us and respects us, come on over. You know, you always, if Tampa don't do you right, you always got a home here in Washington.
Right, but I can't leave my wife, man. It's for life or death, man. You hear me? Big bucks.
Respect that. I respect.
You feel me?
It's all right. I like that, man. Yo, but look, so Brandon, man, while I got you on here, man, I definitely want to shout you out. Ladies and gentlemen, my man has been in music for a while. I want to say all your life, but when I knew you when we was younger, and shout out to Brandon, man, because like I said when we first came in, I met you freshman year, freshman football in that backfield. You, me, Dirty L. Thomas, like Kalen Page was there. I think Christian Benedy was a running back at that time. You know what I mean? So I've known you for that was what 97, 98. I've known you for 20 some odd, more than that. Like, so talk to me, man, about your music. Talk to me about the things you got going on, man, because I love every time I hear everything you're doing. But here's the floor. Go ahead and knock it out.
I appreciate you, bro. Right now I am working on some music. I don't have nothing titled. I haven't even started to promote or right now I'm only operating on Facebook, but I think as we move along and we start putting more things together and working towards a project, I'll probably have more handles and things like that. So forgive me because I haven't got that far yet as far as just, promoting and here's my Instagram and here's my So I'm only on Facebook. I am in the studio. I'm actually just working, trying to find the right sound. Been doing music a long time, but I never really took it serious. And now it's more about the business aspect of it. So I'm trying to get everything in order, get a good team of people around me, have a plan, find my sound, find my lane, perfect my craft. And, hopefully I can make something that's going to shine light on the area, man, on the DMV in Northern Virginia, man. And, make us look good because, everybody has a story to tell.
Yeah.
And even where we from, it's a story to tell. It's two sides of that coin, man. We all went to high school together, but it's another side of things that go on in real life as far as, some of the paths in life that, we all took, whether it was by choice or it was forced that way. But it's definitely something that needs to be said. So I've been working. I did a I featured on the album with some guys. The last video that we were promoting, that was actually the first time I've been back in the studio or even making music in 6 years.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
I kind of had given up on it. Yeah, I gave up on it. What'd you say, bro?
Is that freestyle that
yeah.
y'all did?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the first time I had actually been in the studio and did something for people to see in like 6 years. Because I wasn't gonna do it, and it's just some good people around me had said, "Listen, man, I heard you rap. I paid for the studio time. I just need you to show up." So it was kind of hard for me to say no. Right, and even after I did that song, I got good feedback. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue making music, but just from the energy and the feedback, it's kind of giving me some confidence and some motivation to get back in there and give it another shot. But like I was saying earlier, I'm really trying to package the right thing so that so that it's something that like I said, shine light on the area. It's a good product, good production, good quality music. So I'm taking my time, but I'm definitely working to, in short, I'm definitely working, writing, getting beats. I'm actually working with Jay Johnson, who's also from Herndon.
Yes, sir.
And who's done a lot of, a lot of big things, coming from Herndon, Virginia, man, so I'm working with one of the greats from my own neighborhood. So
I love that. Hey, honestly, man, I absolutely love that because and I personally, I believe that there's no mistakes. There's no coincidences. All these things happen and they're ordered. They're all ordered events. You know where I was and my lineage and how I grew up, in the church and everything and praying, for the team and things like that. Right. So I always feel like every step that you take is that's just what it was supposed to be. My
Absolutely.
past, the things I'm doing, but a lot of people don't know that I've never been somebody that wants to put myself out there and be open and talk to everybody and tell my story and everything because I'm so worried about how they feel and what they're going to think. And then with everything that's happened with the pandemic and seeing a lot of people that we've known struggle and deal and just seeing all the political nonsense, our voice, people need to hear what we have to say. They need to hear our voice out there because I'm tired of having all these other people speak for me. And especially with coming from Herndon.
Right.
This is something we need to put it on the map. We have to, man. Because if we don't do it, who's going to do it?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but look, I gotta show a little clip, man, of your music because I absolutely love, man. I played that video a couple times back in over. And I loved it. I'm going to ask you off camera a little something. I'll talk to you about that later. But yeah, I'm gonna shoot this real quick. Here you go.
No fast forward, cause anything worth it gonna take time. That's why I spit pain on these bass lines. I'm a felon on probation, but still got it in the waistline. God gave me this life. I can't let a nigga take mine.
Woo! Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, yo, man, like you said, you put it up on Facebook before. And I remember way back when you would comment and just put a verse up there. And I'd be like, dang, let me find out dude is doing it like that. That's what's up. So, yo, keep doing the work, man. Because like I told people, this is therapy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Moving in that right direction, uplifting, helping build up our brothers like this, man. This is what we need to do, man. We hold the key right now, man.
Absolutely.
So, man, yo, shout out to you, Brandon. I love that, man. I
appreciate you, bro.
I'm so excited I'm getting a chance to talk to you and have this platform where I can tell you about you and your stuff and we can just talk football, man. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I'm here.
Thank you for having me, bro. I appreciate it. It's an honor, man. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, in the fall, man, when Let's Talk Football comes back with me and Janae and the season comes back on, you already know we're going to be bringing you in.
Yeah, hey, I hope so. I look forward to it. Would love it. Love football. Would love to.
Let's go. And yo, I look forward to everything you got coming out, man. Definitely send it by me and I'll share it, like it, the whole nine, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you, bro.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yo, so, man, yo, I appreciate you coming on here, man. I'll holler at you, all right?
Peace. Hey.
Yes.
Big bucks, you hear me? Yeah. Big chance.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Big chance. All right, bro. All right, peace.
Yes, sir. Woo woo! All right, I got to bring back my people. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for that one. All right, all right. Hey, y'all can check him out. That's my man, Brandon Woodson. Went to high school with him. Doing big things, man. Putting together some nice projects, man. Definitely check it out. I'll send you guys the link. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and move on. Topic. Here we go. Bear with me as I get the banners and everything back. Yep. Topic number 3. Diversity with Delilah. Yeah. What's up, Delilah?
Hey. Look, I just wanted to start off by saying, look, I recognize as a woman that is Women's History Month starting today. But I just, but on top of that, for me, diversity is more than just, picking one month. Like, we should be celebrating all people all year round.
Exactly.
All the time. Not just 1 month, okay? The month should highlight, but it should go around year long.
Exactly.
So don't worry, I'll bring you some women, the next few weeks. But for me, it's really important to talk about this athlete, Jim Thorpe, because, a lot of people don't even know who he is because he was very big. Basically the turn of the early 20th century. So, long time ago. But because of obviously a lot of reasons, one of them being that he was Native American. So there was a lot of, he faced a lot of racism and a lot of his accolades were not given to him, which were his due. So Jim Thorpe, I think, is very important because he was one of the first, like, all around sports guy. Like, he could do everything. Like, he was an Olympian. He could play baseball. Like, it was crazy, like, the type of athlete that this man was. And so I just wanted to make sure that we kind of spotlighted Jim Thorpe and recognize his indigenous heritage, because that's, for me, is very important. As an educator, for me, I don't like whitewashed history. I'm just going to throw that out there. So I always want to make sure that people are given their due. So basically, he was born in what today is Prague, Oklahoma, because, towns change, names change, but that's basically the general area. He was a child of the Sac and Fox Potawatomi Indian bloodlines, born in 1887. So like I said, that's why I need to bring him up, right, over a century ago. But again, people forgot about him. He got lost to history, and I feel like that is unfortunate. But basically, like, everybody was always surprised because he was like this big hulking dude, right? And again, he didn't fit in, right? He wasn't some blonde, blue-eyed dude, right? Like, this is like, and so when you're thinking of an all-American, right, there's a certain thing pops to your mind, right? Like, and so like, he broke down a lot, and his physique came from nature. Like, he was an expert wrangler and breaker of wild horses. Okay, so he grew up in the wilderness, like in the West, when the West was West. Like, this is when Oklahoma was basically the wilds, right? And so like
the territory.
Yeah. So and so his physique really came naturally. Then of course he worked out and added to it and stuff like that. But a lot of it really did come from him being outdoorsy and like, really being a outdoors kind of guy. Anyway, so being that this was the turn of the 20th century, this country has a very bad history of, taking people from their families and sending them to other places. Anyway, so he is from Oklahoma, but he went to Native American industrial school in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. So that's basically where he went to college. That's where he did track and field. He basically would go there in his work clothes. Like, he would just show up, run track. Can you imagine? Like, looking at this dude, so he's like over 6 feet tall. He just shows up from like the field and he's like running track and stuff. He launched himself over a 5'9" high bar to break the school record, and he caught the attention of a coach. So he became the star of their track program. Again, he played baseball, hockey, lacrosse. He even ballroom dance, right? Because Well, I don't know if you know, like some of these guys actually get told to take dance lessons, right? So they could work on their footwork. Like that's actually
And
not.
Swan.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
True. Like there really are players that like will take dance because they'll teach some movement. Anyway, so he was also, of course, All-American football, right? Because so All-American football at Carlisle in this Indian school. He won the pentathlon and the decathlon in the 1912 Olympics. And they were revoked from him. There was a very big controversy. He won 2 gold medals in 1912 at the Olympics, and they were revoked because he played minor league baseball. And I guess supposedly you were supposed to be doing,
What?
Yeah. So he
amateurism. Okay.
So he was stripped of his medals because he really should have been just focusing on one sport or whatever at this point. But we really know why he was stripped of his medals. Because can you imagine? Like this was first of all, I have to say that these Olympics took place in like Sweden, like land of like Vikings and stuff. So so here you go. But anyway, it took forever for his family to get his medals back. So finally in 1983.
What?
Yeah.
83. Good God.
1983 is when the medals were returned to his family, but as a co-winner, even though he won gold medal. Yeah. So obviously now they're still fighting to be like, he wasn't the co-winner. He won.
Co-winner.
Yeah.
He's the winner.
Get out of here.
So now the family is fighting for them to change that record and make him the sole winner, of which he was. Yeah. So anyway, so after the Olympics, he signed with the Canton Bulldogs for $250 a game. That was a lot of money in that time because it was 1915. Yeah. He won championships with this team in 1916, 1917, 1920. Then he kind of moved around. Thorpe went on to play for the NFL's Cleveland Indians, the Rock Island Independents, the New York Giants, and the Chicago Cardinals through 1928.
There you go. Wow.
So, he played a lot of football. Thorpe encountered a lot of difficulties in his career. So he did something that we should all be familiar with. He actually sought a career in Hollywood because we know that players of color at this time, when they ran into bullshit, they were like, whatever, fine.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah. Right. So he sought a career in Hollywood, and while he was credited at KISS, he appeared in more than 60 films from 1931 to 1950. And he got typecasted, right, as the stereotypical, American Indian.
Obviously, yeah.
So then what did he do? He went and he formed his own casting company to pressure Hollywood studio into casting authentic Native Americans for the roles. And so he also started procuring land for the Sac-a-Fox Nation because land back, we think about that now, but land back has been around for a long time. Like Native Americans have been fighting to get their territory, right, their sovereign land back for a long time. Right. So he was part of that in the beginning. In 1963, that's when he was elected a charter member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. This was post-mortem because he passed away in 1953 of a heart attack. And because this were the days, he didn't pass away in affluent surroundings, right? And so really weird stuff happened. Like his family wanted him to have a traditional indigenous burial and then like do this other stuff because he was married a few times, but his last wife, Patsy, was your kind of stereotypical white lady who marries a man of color, but really doesn't accept the fact that he's a person of color.
And hope that he'll assimilate.
And so like she never accepted his indigenous heritage. And so even though he had no kids with her because she was his last wife, she had final say. So they had said that they were going to do the whole ceremony and then do like a Christian ceremony. But I guess she came in last minute and took the body and took his body and was trying to get like this monument, all these different stuff in Oklahoma. And people were like, no. So what did she do? She went to Pennsylvania And that's where she convinced a bunch of poor townies in Pennsylvania to support this idea, which I think you guys should know. There's Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. So it's because she convinced all these people that would be a good idea to have my husband, like, you know, named after this town. It'll bring tourists. It didn't bring tourists. So unfortunately, this town was basically tokenized Jim Thorpe, who was this all-American, not the town's fought today, but you know, your ancestors, guys. I don't know, maybe not the best idea. But that's basically where his mausoleum is. That is where he's buried. And but yeah, so Jim Thorpe played football. He was like your bit, you know, like when you think about like your big like kind of football players, like he was super athletic, and I'm hoping that we can like bring his personality back, and I hope that people start acknowledging who he was and give him his due, because he could play any sport really and excel really well in it. And so that's Jim Thorpe.
Yeah, thank you so much, Delilah. And that I'm glad you talked about that, because we can't even say how many people do not know who this man is and or was. Like he was.
I wish I could show you a picture. Yeah, he was like
who he truly was, right? Like who he truly was,
right.
Because anybody can say, like, you've heard the name, you know, you've heard the name Jim Thorpe, but can you really say you know anything about him? Because even you know, with this subject, we were talking about this. Even when I said, "Well, I'm going to cover Jim Thorpe," I'm like, "Well, I know the name. I know Jim Thorpe as, you know, as a name and as a figure, and you know, in the Olympics and all that, as an athlete and all that, but you don't really know the story behind, which is so great. That's why I really appreciate something like this. You get to learn a little bit more.
There he is in his there he is in his football uniform, like yeah. So like
kind of looked like me in high school. No, I'm kidding. I was never that tall, so that wasn't me.
You know, so there's, you know, your you know, so again, like for him, he went through a lot of challenges being a Native American man. So a lot of his stuff, you know, he was tokenized, right? People didn't take him serious.
Sure.
He got stripped of medals. He left football because, you know, it really wasn't, you know. So Jim Thorpe, the reason I'm highlighting him because he did play football, so he was a football player. But I also wanted to highlight that he basically could play any sport and excel.
Right.
And so.
And he was amazing, honestly. He was amazing. He was one of those guys that's like the folklore, you know. This man like ran like the triathlon, and you know, was in the Olympics and all this crazy stuff. He was like a superhuman, you know. But like you said, Delilah, because of the fact that he was indigenous, you know, people didn't want to respect his ability. They didn't want to respect his greatness, and it's a shame that time period and that era like tried to hide all of that greatness for so long that now we're looking back at it like, oh my God, if we would have only had the kind of publicity and the kind of attention now that we had them, this guy would have been the greatest of everything, because he could do everything, and that's what was so amazing about him. That he can do everything. So thank you so much, Delilah. I love that. That was nice. I'm glad you brought up Jim Thorpe, because that is somebody that I wanted to touch. So we'll definitely look forward to what you got coming next week. Oh yeah, I am excited about it. Thank you for that. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and move on just like the water. Just like the water. See that? This is my wave. I don't know if you see. Just watch the wave. Yo, one of my favorite parts of this show, because we've been talking about the draft, and I know this man loves this period, because he gets to sit there and share with us the notes that he's broken down. 2 weeks ago, we did quarterbacks in the draft. Last week, we did O-linemen in the draft. And man, Nick, I was sitting here after you were talking about these guys. I was sitting here studying them, like, oh man, Washington, they need to get this guy. They need to get this guy. Right. But yo, what do you got for us this week, man? What wide receivers? What's going on, man?
As you know, as Nate was talking about earlier, you know, we have wide receivers, the guys who need to catch the ball in this particular, you know, like the Baltimore Ravens need to catch the ball more. maybe we could find somebody for the Ravens in this draft. No, I'm kidding.
All
But
right,
anyway,
all right.
we have what I have for you today, my friends. In my best Jesse
I would
Jackson,
like to
what
know
I'd
this.
like
I
to
would like
talk
to know.
about today is the wide receivers in this current draft of the 2021 season.
Yes.
Sorry, I've actually met the man. I love Jesse Jackson.
I
Don't get me
know.
wrong.
There we go. I
Okay,
like
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Chicago.
But no. I love Jesse. But no, I got wide receivers today, and here's the thing. In years past, you might say that, well, how does this wide receiver class kind of stack up to other ones? And again, this year it appears that the SEC has decided to have their complement again of wide receivers come out this year, because really 4 of the top 5 are from the SEC. So they're generally rated 4 of the top 5 are from the ever-loving SEC conference. But
Okay.
here's the interesting thing, because as you know, I also liked when I did this, like what I've done with the quarterbacks and kind of with the O-line, I've kind of put them in the order that I think they'll go. This is kind of like my, like we said, Sean, this is my take on what I've looked at, what I've talked, listened to and tried to do some research on and see where things are. And these are kind of the way I think this is going to go, because 1 and 2 for me could be interchangeable. The top 2 guys in this year's wide receiver draft are Jamar Chase out of LSU and Devonta Smith out of Alabama. Now, both bring to you a lot of different things. Now, here's my thing, though, because as you know, in a typical wide receiver, you kind of want a guy who's like 6'2", 6'3", maybe 6'4". He's got, this big, tall guy who could go up and get the ball, and he could just run you out of the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Jamar Chase and Devonta Smith both are only 6'1", so not incredibly tall for receivers. But these are guys. These guys have incredible hands, and these guys can go out and get the ball for you, and that's what you want. I mean, Jamar Chase alone, as a sophomore, 2019, Jamar led FBS in receiving yards and touchdowns on his way to winning the Fred Biletnikoff Award for best receiver in college football. So Jamar's not a joke. I know a lot of people, sat out 2020, season like a lot of other guys did. And the thing is, I think that was a smart move for Jamar when you think about it, because he lost his quarterback. Joe Burrow went to the NFL. He takes a chance with the new guy coming in, maybe not looking as great or maybe not getting, whatever the situation is. So you let your record, when you had your top line quarterback, speak for itself. And I think Jamar really, like sophomore season, 84 receptions, 1,780 yards, 20 touchdowns. This guy is a scoring machine. So if you're looking for a guy to get you in the end zone, you got to look at Jamar Chase. And again, in terms of where could Jamar, I think between the two, it's either Jamar Chase or Devonta Smith are one of the first 2 receivers, or should be the first 2 receivers taken in this draft. Again, depends how that shakes out, who gets traded, or this team traded for a quarterback, this team did this. But I look here at the first at teams that need quarterbacks. Sorry, teams that need wide receivers. And I made an argument, of course, for the Jets at 2 taking Penei Sewell if they could to help protect Sam Darnold if they keep him, because the Jets still haven't made a move either way on what they're going to do with their quarterback. So, but I think the first receiver here that could go is at number 5 to the Bengals, because the Bengals could use some wide receiver help. And as much as Penei Sewell I thought might land there, there's a consensus now. It's starting to brew that maybe he's going to go quicker than that he's going to go before this. So if he goes early, like 1, 2, 3, you got a receiver sitting here at 5'6" in this range. And the Bengals have numero 5, my friend. They got the 5th pick there, and we all know they could use some receiver help. But also, number 6, that's where I'm looking. Because as we know, the Philadelphia Eagles sit there at number 6. And if anybody needs receiver help, it's those Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC least. Sorry, Sean. So
it is what it is.
It is what it is. You got your young quarterback in Jalen Hurts. What better than to pair him with a good young receiver coming out of college? A guy who can, like I said, guy who can go get the ball, guy who can catch. So either one of these guys, Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Let me give you some numbers on Devonta Smith, though, just to show you that this kid was no joke either. I mean, he did get in some games as a freshman. He had 8 receptions, 160 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Even that man managed it. He only had 8 receptions, but 3 of them were touchdowns. So, I mean, that guy's not a touchdown machine. Sophomore year, he broke out a little bit more, but junior year was the big year, obviously. 68 receptions, 1,256 yards, 14 touchdowns. He was the first receiver to win the AP Player of the Year. Think about that for a minute. Since they inserted this, I think it was 92, first receiver to win AP Player of the Year, Devonta Smith. Also, of course, he won the 2020 Heisman. So this guy's not a joke. And he's the first guy to do that since who? You ask? Well, the University of Michigan's own Desmond Howard, 1991, my friend.
Desmond Howard.
We all remember Devonta, and he came to what? See, I knew that, Sean. I teed that up one for you, my brother. Desmond Howard was for you, my friend. That's for you. All right, but of course, obviously, the title game, Devonta Smith showed I'm the man, and this is why I say either one or two could go either way. But when you have a title game where you have 12 receptions, 215 total yards, you have 3 touchdowns, you're the offensive player of the game, my friend. You're the game changer. You are a game changer. So again, 1 and 2 could be Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase. Again, couple teams who need receivers right in that 5-6 range. Again, possibly Bengals, depending on what they do. I would prefer they go O-line to get somebody to protect Joe Burrow. But if somehow Penny is not available at 5, you go with what you need. They also need some receive. They can use some receiving help. Again, Eagles at 6. Eagles definitely need a receiver. You got these 2 guys. You got these 2 guys here. Whatever
out of Alabama, right?
Well, I'm getting to that next. Yes,
okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yep. You are correct. That's number 3 on my list. Whoa, Delilah, you're jumping ahead. No, which I appreciate. I like the passion and the enthusiasm with which you're going with this. But he's next. I promise you. Number 3. That's what I told you. 4 out of the top 5 receivers are from the SEC. 2 from LSU and 2 from Alabama. Number 3 from Alabama. Since you brought him up, Jalen Waddell, right? Now again, a little smaller guy.
I didn't say his name. I said
no, I know. No, but you knew. I knew who you were talking about. Wasn't there 2 from Alabama? July was like, "Excuse my receiver." I'm not trying to say to you. Excuse my receiver. Now here's the thing: Waddell is a little smaller. He's only coming in at 5'10", about 183. So this is a guy who needs to run past you. This is a speedster. This is a guy who gets to blow by you because he's not going up and doing the Hail Murray he wouldn't have caught because he's only 5'10". They would have swatted him down like a little fly.
Right.
But again, here's a guy, Alabama. You play with Mac Jones, who again we know was in the draft. Mac Jones could go anywhere from 1 to 30 at this point. The way they have these things listed, who knows where Mac Jones is going to act up? Could end up with the Washington football team. Could end up on our beloved Bears, Delilah. Who knows? But he did play with phenomenal receivers again, and Devonta Smith and here Jalen Waddell. Excuse me. But see, the thing with Waddell is he's coming off a right ankle injury. He did return. Obviously, he got hurt in the Tennessee game in the opening game of the year 2020. He was returning a kickoff and got an ankle injury. But he did return for the national championship game. So he wanted to make sure his name got out. He's like, no, I'm here. I'm playing. I'm not kidding with you guys. But again, when you look at numbers, we all look at numbers and we all say, hey, what does this guy got? What can this guy do? 2018, 45 receptions, 848 yards, 7 touchdowns. 2019, 33 receptions, 560 yards, 6 touchdowns. Mind you, playing aside Devonta Smith. So again, weapons all around for Mac. And this is the other thing. This is an important thing because even going back to Nate in his notes with making the quarterback maybe look a little bit better than what he is. These guys made Mac Jones his stock probably rise a little bit. Not because Mac Jones is not the most talented guy. Mac Jones is not the most talented guy in the draft, but he's an Alabama quarterback, and he was able to throw to guys who could go get the ball, who could catch it. You make the quarterback look better. Thus, hey, Mac Jones, we got to look at that guy. Let's see what he did. Look at his numbers. Well, look at who he was throwing to. You got to look at that too.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So Jalen Waddell coming in at 3, and again, you're looking, you're going, hey, who sits at number 11? but the New York Football Giants. And I think we all know that the Giants could definitely use some receiver help in this particular draft. So again, depending on how these quarterbacks go and how this ends up, but number 11 sitting there in a pretty good position is the Giants to pick up one of these top 3-4 receivers to really help Daniel Jones. Hopefully you get Saquon Barkley back. You know how he's going to be after the injury. Like you got the potential for some good stuff in New York. You know, if they can ever get this together and really get on the same, and stop complaining about what the Eagles did or whatever else they were complaining about at the end of last year. So anyways, again, don't cry, baby. Take care of your business. You handle yourself. But,
exactly.
So number 4. Yeah, number 4. Number 4, I kind of slipped in here. He's one of these guys who could be from 4 to maybe 8 or 9, depending on how teams value. Kadarius Toney, wide receiver out of Florida. 5'11", 194. A guy can go get the ball. Again, not the tallest guy, but can go get the ball outside, can play in slot a little bit, 70 receptions, 984 yards, 10 touchdowns. So the guy can get in the end zone. And that's what you want. Again, you're looking for a guy who can complement your offense, especially when drafting receivers out of college. Like, because you get some of these guys, again, SEC likes to throw the ball, offense. And so you get these guys coming out of these SEC schools, and like Jerry Jeudy, take for instance, guys coming out of Alabama. I looked for that kid like last year when I saw he went to Denver. I'm like, good pick for Denver. Let's get him a quarterback to throw him the ball. Right. Drew Lock is the answer there, but a guy like Jerry Jeudy, same out of that Alabama system. This guy's going to run. He's going to go get you the ball, and that's just the way it is. So much in the same mode again. SEC, they throw the ball. They love that. But yeah, Kadarius Toney sitting here at number 4. And again, when you look at possible teams, again, we know this changes daily, and there's teams that everybody. But you got a Patriots team at 15. I've heard rumors of them wanting to trade up, maybe to get a quarterback, which I could see too. But again, the Patriots need receiving help. Can you name, how many different second tier receivers did they have on that team?
Right.
So again, Patriots.
All I know was N'Keal Henry. There
you go. See, right? There you go. But again, that could go either way, But Patriots could use some receiving help. Belichick is a guy who has an eye for talent, and you could see one of these guys. Again, Kadarius Toney, if he's available there, if they want to gamble with that, you go that route. And the next guy is again from LSU, from the LSU powerhouse, Terrace Marshall Jr. Now here's a little bit big, guys. A little bit bigger, 6'3", 201. Right. That's right. This is what you want. That's a prototypical wide receiver to me. 6'3", at least, 6'3", 200 pounds. This guy's going to go up there. He's going to hurt you because he's going to fight with you. He's got some weight on him. You know what I'm saying? He's going to bruise in there. He only played 7 games, though, in this past season. But he's a big guy. 731 yards, 10 touchdowns. Again, find the end zone. That's what you want these guys for, right? Exactly. 10 TDs in 7 games with not Joe Burrow. So there you go. LSU coming out the gate with 2 receivers. Alabama coming out of the gate with 2 receivers. You throw in a Kadarius Toney, and the SEC's on fire, my brother. Let me tell you. So let's go outside of the SEC for a moment, shall we? And again, Terrace Marshall, here's a guy who could go late 20s. You're looking at teams up at the top. And again, depending on what the Browns do and depending on what happens with Odell, maybe you replace Odell with a Terrace Marshall Jr. at 26 and get a 6'3", 12-run receiver to run with my boy Jarvis Landry. You got 2 studs out here throwing the ball. So again, anything to make Baker right. That's the slogan. That should be the slogan for 2021. Let's make Baker better. Let's make Baker better. Yes.
I love that slogan.
Let's make Baker great again. That's what it should be.
I kind of have a soft spot for Baker. I think it's a bad rap, but make Baker better.
I called the Browns almost make it to the Super Bowl. So
that's right. Cleveland needs to win again. LeBron left, came back, left. Going outside again of the SEC, we have Tutu Atwell out of Louisville, but he did forego his senior season again to enter the draft. This seems to be a pattern for a lot of these guys. They really didn't want to take a chance on their stock dropping. So a lot of guys, not knowing what the COVID thing would be, they decided, let's sit out. I'm going to let my numbers speak for themselves and see where they are. A lot of boards he's listed 6, 7, 8, depending on what how you view it. But he's a little smaller guy, so he could be more of a slot receiver, 5'9", 165. So this is a guy who you're not going to have him running, 60-yard patterns out. But if you need a guy to maybe for the middle, you need 4. Again, we like to call those possession receivers. It's third down, you need 4 yards. Throw this guy on a little slant or something, boom, there's your first down. So
I like the little guys when they do good moves.
Slot guys.
How good is Cooper Kupp? Like in that sense, Cooper Kupp's not a big guy.
I'm thinking, and I think of Cole Beasley. I love him.
Yep.
I like Cole Beasley. And look at what he did for Buffalo this year.
That's what I'm saying. I love him. So
target games. You just saw, Cole Beasley. Really, totally. And so again, a little smaller guy, but again, a guy who's going to be competitive. He's going to get in there. He's going to get the ball for you. And this is exactly what you're looking for. One more guy, Rashad Bateman. I'm out of Minnesota, and the reason I mention him, he's about 7th on the list. But think about this. I don't know if you guys see this is where my my fandom of Northern Illinois comes into play, my friends. Rashad played for a coach named PJ Fleck, who was a Northern Illinois wide receiver in the early 2000s. And he was on the team. If I remember correctly, my Northern Illinois Huskies at that 2003 season were undefeated. They were ranked in the top 10 for the first time ever until Bowling Green decided to dash all our dreams, and that was a terrible game, and I don't want to talk about it. But that year, we had beaten the first 3 games. We beat Iowa State, Maryland, and who was the third victory? We won our first 3 games that year. People started to catch on, and one of the reasons why was PJ Fleck was the starting receiver on that Northern Illinois team. So this guy recognized, he's an offensive guy. Minnesota has done a lot better with PJ Fleck. They got that brand new facility up in Minnesota that they built for them, and he's got the team believing, and here you go. This is proof of that. You got a guy coming in, possibly 7 or 8 receivers, so this could be a late first round, early second round guy. Again, for teams that need receiving help, second round picks are extremely important. Maybe the Chiefs decide they want to bulk up their receiving core a little bit. Maybe even the Buccaneers at 32, something like that, something going into the second round leading to this. So I don't know, again, the quarterback situation is kind of what's throwing a lot of this off because you don't know.
Right.
Do the Jets see Sam Darnold? No.
Right.
Do the Panthers stick with Bridgewater trade for something else? Like there's so many questions, which is why I will announce this here. You heard it here first. The first official Nick Rosario mock draft will be out next month. I will reveal to you for the first time my mock draft next Monday. You will see what's in my mind and what I think is going to happen.
Man,
so again,
this is going to be exciting.
I've decided to highlight today. Nate looks like he wants to say something or he wants to choke me. I'm not sure which one.
So can I ask now, Nick, or should I wait till next week?
No, you ask me whatever you want, sir. Except what my middle name is.
Probably go ahead and wait till next week, and you can just save that for something for
I think I'm gonna say that till next week.
Okay, I'm with you. So next week, mock draft comes out, and I'm sure everybody will have millions of questions for me because I'm nuts.
I need to know where in your mock draft what Baltimore's going to take. So
I can't wait. I can't wait to see Nick Rosario's mock draft.
What crazy predictions I have. Let me tell you, I'm thinking up that box, baby. I'm going for it.
Yes.
This has been building up for. This is why Nick's been doing each week a different draft that he's been covering. We're just building up for Nick's draft. This is what we've been waiting for, Nick. Thank you for that. I've seen so many. Only person on there, and he's probably not going to get picked up in the first from Purdue.
Yeah.
Love him. I want him slot, but I don't know if it's gonna. If that's
I just don't.
But go ahead.
He's probably a good middle to second round, maybe third round pick. The kid out of Purdue. So you got to kind of see.
I say second round.
Again. Second round, yeah. I mean, again, second round, depending again. What do teams need after they settle their quarterback situations and all that? So, yeah, there's so much. There's too much.
Absolutely.
Too much.
Absolutely. And it has to be on what people need, what positions, what things they need. So, all right, man, we gotta go cut this thing. But I did one more quick segment. One last word. Yay. All right, and we're gonna. In this part is a quick ending part of the show. We're just gonna go around one more that we want to bring to the look forward to next, or something we just think that's on our mind. So I'm gonna go to you, Delilah.
I think that we might have another quarterback traded before. I think Nick called it. I think Teddy is not going to be staying with the Panthers. Now, I am not saying that he's going to the 49ers, but the fact that the 49ers called the Panthers about Teddy, it's probably not the only team that's probably called the Panthers. So that might be the next quarterback traded. Not a big name, not Deshaun. I think that's going to be ugly this season. I honestly don't think they're going to trade Deshaun. I think that's going to be a whole mess. That's going to go into the season, and Houston is going to regret making that decision. I don't think they're trading Deshaun. It's not going to happen. But I think I could see Teddy going somewhere else and finding a new home. That's my final word. He's not going to be the Panthers starting quarterback next season.
Ooh, I like that. Nick, what you got, man?
Well, I'm going to kind of follow along in a lot of footsteps in terms of quarterback on the last word here. And I know what I said last week because it's still ingrained in my head that the Bears should do everything they could, throw the kitchen sink in Houston to get Deshaun Watson. But you're gonna, I'm taking a 180 after really looking at a lot of this stuff and a lot of the stuff that's going on, and that Houston mess that's over there. I think the Bears could be better served. Just what I'm thinking. You start Nick Foles, you draft a quarterback, and so that's where I'm going now. We got the 20th pick. I don't know how much we'd be able to move up if we could. Depending, you probably have to give up a lot for a first, to move up in the first round. But I think right now, you know what? It is what it is. We made this bed. We do have to lie in it a little bit. So I think you start Nick Foles, you draft a quarterback, and you go from there. Because right now, with all the other trades that are still probably going to happen with some of these quarterbacks, we just don't have the draft capital to give away if you want to build this team. You really do need to consider the offensive line help we need, and again, still need some quarterback play here. So my final word this week is Nick Foles is in, draft a quarterback, and let the defense carry us like it always does.
I like it. Nate, what you got, man?
So as I said last week, I said whatever happens in this free agency, whoever makes the bid, whichever teams make an impact, it will have a significant impact on the season this upcoming. Whoever stays, whoever goes, whoever another team. But this week, I want to focus on Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are apart. They haven't come to an agreement about a contract long term, and I think he has 2 more years on his rookie deal. Everybody, calm down. This is the Baltimore Ravens. They will take care of Lamar Jackson. It's not like I think it's just testing the waters. We all know Lamar Jackson is going to get paid. This notion that you cannot pay a quarterback, particularly in his style of a quarterback, is BS. Dante Culpepper, Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, John Elway, Steve Young. You can pay these guys an exorbitant amount of money, and they've shown that they can win a championship. Patrick Mahomes is the latest example of that. Lamar Jackson will have a contract. Lamar Jackson will win a championship. And again, I'm still saying I think this offseason is going to have a positive and negative effect on a lot of teams. Mark my words.
All right.
I don't know why you're getting up on Mitch Trubisky, Delilah, and Nick. That's sad, but okay.
I never said I gave up on him. I like him. I put him all over the place.
If I were Mitch, I know. Sorry, real quick. But if I were Mitch, I'd want to go at this point.
Yes, start fresh.
They showed Mitch that they didn't want to, they didn't play to his strengths. They didn't. He was in a system that he was not gonna excel in. And so, they brought in Foles to begin with. Yeah, if I'm Mitch, I want to go. I wish him the best of luck. I hope he has a good career. But I think we stick with Nick Foles, draft a quarterback, and see where we go, man. I know Mitchell's gone.
Man, yeah, no. So, for my one last word, like I stated earlier, the late great Irv Cross just passed away, and he, honestly, I mean, to be frank, he made it possible for any of the four of us to even be in the position we're in. He broke barriers. He broke ground on a lot of things when it comes to the journalism world, when it comes to just having people that look like us out there in front that can articulate, that can speak to the masses, that can sound educated. And let's be honest, he was drafted in 61. He was one of the first guys to get drafted by the Eagles. And he went to there. He was with the Rams, then he went back to Eagles. But the biggest thing with him was that he was a player coach, and he actually, what we see that Tony Romo did now, where he played and now he's so great in the booth. Irv Cross started that. Irv Cross was a part of these teams, and it was great. But one of the biggest things when he came and joined CBS in 1971 was they thought that he was a nice guy, but he also knew the sport. He knew the game, and so he was able to give that insight from a different perspective, because most of those people that had been in the booth weren't from. They didn't used to play football. You know what I mean? Irv Cross is one of the people that dispelled that myth of the dumb jock. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, the fact that he was black, they didn't really expect too much from guys like us. So the fact that he did that and the way that he carried himself all those years. I mean, even after he retired for broadcasting, he actually was the AD, athletic director at Idaho State University. You know what I mean? So he kept it. He kept going. And there was another place, things like Mecklenburg, that he was also an AD and in their football program. And he didn't just cover football. He also covered basketball. He covered gymnastics. He covered track and field. So he broke barriers. He really did. And the least I can do, I know it's March 1st, but the least I can do is talk about him, because he absolutely, even to what we're doing in journalism, what we're doing reporting the notes, what you're doing, Delilah, with the diversity. We're giving people an image of people that look like us, and maybe it's not the image that most people are used to. You know what I mean? We're allowing people to see a side of people. We're very educated. We're coming with a lot of facts and knowledge and opinion, and it's stuff that we've done research on and things like that. But the fact that we're out and able to do it, and not to be worried about who's watching or it going out there to the masses. This is it moves my heart, man, because I love doing this. I know you guys love it too, and this is definitely something that I'm so proud to be a part of. So yeah. So with that being said, we got to go ahead and cut it. We've already gone over 2, but it's been a great show. So we're gonna go clockwise around the room. I'm Sean Spencer. Delilah.
I'm sorry. Delilah Crespo. Good night.
Nick Rosario. Thank you.
Nathan Snow. Have a good night, everybody.
I can dig it. All right, guys. We will see you next week. Nick's Mark Jones coming up.